Hello, everyone. Welcome back to LPY The Inside. We are on episode 12. Is it 12? 12? Okay, I think it's episode 12. Please, I don't know if it's that. Yeah, just make sure. I think it's episode 12. But anyway, today we are here with Lani Smallwood and that's Avon. Natasha Smallwood. So I'm just going to let you guys talk about who y'all are and like what y'all do or what you do for the community and such. So
Okay. Well, my name's Natasha Smallwood.
Oh, you have to like really like speak into the
Okay,
microphone.
so I have to like get there. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay. I'm Natasha Smallwood, and I teach at Albertville High School this year, and I'm also the girls basketball coach. So this is my first year there, and I'm super excited about that. I have two daughters, Lani and Callie Smallwood, and then my husband is John, and so I have also an adopted son, Trevor, who lives in Kansas. He's in the Air Force, and he has a wife, Rebecca, and then we have a little granddaughter named Hazel, and so we don't get to see them much, but yeah, that's our family, and we're super excited about being in the Albertville community and meeting all the wonderful people here, and the school is awesome, and so we're just excited about this.
My name's Lani Smallwood. I play basketball for Albertville. And yeah, I just moved here this year. Well, we started last year, but this is my first full year here. And yeah, I'm just really excited to play for them and to represent my community.
Okay. So normally we have like questions for y'all. But because it's an interview, we're just bouncing off of each other, and whatever questions that y'all have to ask Lani and Natasha, y'all just ask. I feel like you are really wanting the mic right now.
Me?
Yeah. I
have one in mind.
Okay.
Okay. Miss Natasha or Coach Natasha. Coach Smallwood.
There you go. Either one.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I read in I think it was the Sand Mountain Reporter, that you really felt that God was really leading you to take the offer at Albertville, and so you made it seem like your religion was very important to you. So do you want to talk a little bit about like what that means to you and how you let it influence your career and your team?
Absolutely. Being a believer, I have been for most of my life, and my dad has been a pastor of a church since I was 8 years old, and so we were, I've been raised in the church. I've been raised around the church my whole entire life, and so my parents have always taught me to, as I grew up, obviously to follow the Lord's leadership and His guidance in my life. And I haven't always done that. I think as I was younger, it was hard to truly trust the Lord's leadership in what I did in my life. But as you get older, you learn that that's who you have to depend on, because He is our best friend. He is our confidant. He is the person that we go to when we have no one else to turn to. And He's also knows our future. He has a hand in what we do in our lives. And so trusting Him in our guidance as far as where we need to go in life, that's what we all need to do. Is it easy to do? No. So in talking about me following His guidance here, I was not looking to leave Susan Moore. I went to school there from kindergarten through 12th grade, and I graduated from there. My husband graduated from there. My mom and dad, my brother, my oldest daughter, all graduated from Susan Moore. And so I went and played college ball, got my degree in 4 years. I was hired there at age 22. So I worked at Susan Moore when I was 22 all the way until this past year. So I was there for 22 years. Never thought that I would leave. And so this opportunity came from the offer to coach here at Albertville, and I turned it down, and because I was comfortable in what I was doing. I was in my comfort zone. I was, wanted to win a state championship there. I wanted, had a lot of goals and things that were personal goals, maybe selfish goals in a sense, but it's still a goal, as a coach that you want to do and you want to obtain. But when I turned the job down, I had turned down other jobs in the past when my oldest daughter was there, and it was the right thing because I knew that that's what I should do. But this time, when I turned the job down, I had this feeling come over me that it just was different. It wasn't a peaceful decision, and so and when I turned it down, I didn't truly pray about the decision. I made the decision on my own because I wanted to stay and try to accomplish a goal. Mm-hmm. And so when I realized that, I of course talked to my husband and I prayed, and I prayed to God, and I just asked him, I'm like, I need to know, Lord, what you want me to do in your leadership and your guidance in this decision. And so I prayed and asked for some things to show me that this is what I needed to check into this, or this is what I needed to do. And everything kind of fell in line for me to take this job. And the more I went into it, the more peace I had about doing it. I was scared, in making that decision because I was leaving my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm really close to the end of my career in a sense. I mean, if you look at it as far as teaching 25 years, I'm not leaving them. But I was like, Lord, show me that this is what you want me to do. And he truly did in several different ways. And so when I accepted the job, it was a piece, that I knew that he was wanting me to do this. And so I definitely had to trust him. And I talked with Lani and made sure that, and told her this whole, process, and asked her about how she felt moving schools as a junior in high school. And I know that's tough for any kid to move schools, but she was up for it. And then my husband was very supportive. My oldest daughter, all my family was supportive. And so we made the move. And now that we're here, I know that there's been so many different things that the Lord has shown me that I have made the right decision. And so I'm very thankful because Lani's found a great friend group, a great support system, I feel like, in high school. And I think that's so important for you kids to have that circle. And it's not just a circle, right? It's not the popular circle. It's not the circle everybody thinks you must be in. It's the circle that helps keep you close to Christ. Okay, that makes you better in Him, because that's going to make you better in life. And so I feel like that the Lord has done that, and I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful for this. Am I nervous at times? Still, yes, I am. Am I scared at times? Yes. Am I still feeling a little bit out of my comfort zone? Yes, I am. But every day, I'm enjoying what I do. I'm enjoying get to meet new people. But then also get to know the people that I'm around daily better every day. And so that's kind of the story.
I know you said, like, you talked to Lani about it, mm-hmm. and, like, it, like, the move, I'm sure the move, like, itself was hard, because, I mean, like, I've been at Albertville my whole life, mm-hmm. and, I mean, like, I've grown up here, I've had the same friend group since I was literally like a baby. And so I'm sure, like you said, like Lainey moving into a new school as a junior itself was hard. But I don't normally, like, when people like move to our school, I'm just like, oh, new kid, okay, sure. And I'm just like, I just kind of find out things about them and stuff.
Right.
But like for some reason, I like felt so, I don't want to say like called to Lainey, but like I just felt like drawn to her, I guess, in a way. And so I think, oh, we met through Olivia. It was Lainey's first day actually. And I was like, Olivia, tell me about Lainey, like, you know. And so then after school, we went to go eat Chick-fil-A. And then, like, ever since, we had just been in contact. And then Clay was like, hey, you need to invite Lainey to church. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And, I mean, like, I tell Lainey things that, like, I don't tell anyone else. And, I mean, like, or same with Miley. Like, you know, we're all really close to Miley. And, like, Miley's just, like, that one friend for us. And so we, like, always tell each other things that we don't really tell anyone else. And I think that, like you said, like, you guys, like, were called to move here for a purpose. And I'm sure, like, leaving your friends from Susan Moore was also really hard, but you also, like, found friends here that I feel like you've also, that you are, like, very satisfied with, and that, like, you know, give you that happiness. But, like, when your mom first told you about, like, moving, what were your thoughts? Like, what did you first think of?
Well, the first time she told me, we were actually at the beach on vacation, and she had just brought it up to me. You know, I wasn't doing anything. She was just like, the superintendent from Albertville keeps on calling me to take the job. And I'm like, no, you're not going. Like, what?
Right, like,
I was
what are
like,
you talking about?
you've lost. And, well, he called her once, but he was on the phone with her for a while, I remember.
Right.
Like, he was on the phone with her for a while. And I was like, you're not going to move. Like,
Yeah.
we've been here forever. I mean, I have 2 years. It's wide open this year. Like, we're winning it this year. We have all of the goals we've wanted to accomplish. Like, no. And so at first, like she said, it was all selfishness. You know, I have goals of being player of the year. And so I knew 2A, I was like, this is, I mean, it's wide open. Like, everything, all of my goals are wide open right here. And so I was like, not only, like, I know she's not going to move because she wants that, but, like, I didn't think she would move because of, like, she knew my wants and my goals too. And so I kind of brushed it off, and I didn't really think about it again because I really didn't think there was any way that she could do it. And not that she wouldn't, but just I knew how much Susan Moore meant to her, and I knew how much it meant to our family, and we've just grown up there. But then she started talking to me a little bit more about it, and she just, like, she told me that they wanted to, like, have supper with her and just, like, talk to her about it. And I was like, sure, like, go, you know? And she had told me the possibilities. She was like, it's 7A, like, obviously, like, that's the biggest stage, and it can help you too. Like, it can help me better myself for college and stuff. And I was like, okay, like, I get that. I was like, but, I mean, this is not, like, hidden, but, I mean, they weren't very good at all last year. And I was like, but, I mean, it's 7A. So it's the toughest competition. It's the best of the best, and it's hard. It is a hard. And so then she went and had supper with them, and she instantly was just like, Lainey, like I think this is what I want to do. Like, she just felt like a peace, like she was talking to me about, and she kept on talking to me about, like, all of the things that could come along with it for me, and like not like selfish things, but things that better me. Yeah. And eventually I was like, okay, like, let's do this. Like, I wanted to. I was like, I'm ready. You know, I've always wanted to go to a bigger school. Yeah. Like, I love being around people. And so, like, I've always just wanted that experience of being at a big school. And so, I mean, like, it wasn't really, like, I questioned it much. I mean, I did at first, but then after I was just like, let's do it. Because I'm not one that's going to think too deeply about it. Anyways, I'm just like, I mean, like, let's do it. So, yeah.
Ethan?
Okay, so, first of all, like, my first question is, did Albertville feel like welcoming? And then my second question, I'm just gonna ask them at the same time, is that like because of how much media y'all were getting off of like moving here, knowing that people were like watching your every move or like just obsessing
Like
over
knowing that you
like
were
just
yeah.
knowing everything and like maybe just knowing that you were like the talk of the town, like both of you. What was your opinion on that?
So first question, were they welcoming? 100%. As soon as I moved, like I've never felt a community like this before. I mean, Susan Moore was amazing, and they were amazing to us. I didn't have a big friend group, really. I had a couple of friends, but we weren't like one group, you know? And so I was really close to my sister's grade, and when they were gone, I kind of just distanced myself from a lot of people. And so I think moving was 100% the best decision for me, possibly for myself and my well-being, if that makes any sense, of like being around good people. And so they all welcomed me like they had known me forever. And you know, Miley, she had known me forever. She was in 3A2, and so she had known of me. And so like just the gratitude, like I felt like I was wanted here. Like they were happy I was here. They knew I could help, and they knew I could do something. And like that's kind of what made me feel so like pumped about it in a way, because like they wanted both of us, and like they appreciated our talent and our gifts that we had been given, and they wanted us to apply that. And so I think, I mean, yes, 100% the most welcomed I've felt. And then with the media and people watching my every move, I mean, obviously, like I grew up at Susan Moore, so people were kind of just used to me being there. It wasn't like, oh, she was like, oh, there's Lani. Like it wasn't like anything big, you know? And so moving, I knew I would have like not a target on my back, but I knew I would have people that were interested in me and like wanted to know about me, but also were going to watch my every move because they've heard things about me, like good things about me, about like obviously like I can play basketball. I'm pretty good at it. And so I knew that people would be like watching, and I kind of just, I mean, I took it in. It doesn't really bother me too bad. I mean, yeah, it gets me nervous sometimes to play. The first game I was very nervous. Yeah, because I just knew people had a lot of expectations of me, and I didn't want to, by any means, I didn't want to disappoint anyone. And so that was kind of the hardest part, was the first game. But like as far as how I carry myself and like people seeing me in the hallways and seeing like how I am outside of sports, I mean, it wasn't really hard for me because I know how to act, you know, like I don't.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's pretty much my take on that.
It's just you, I hope.
Yeah.
you
I'm just myself.
Be yourself. Be yourself. Talking about, I guess, both questions for me, everybody was very welcoming, very supportive, seemed very excited, you know, about us coming. And you know, that makes you feel good as a person, obviously, you know, and then again, you don't want to disappoint anyone. And, but, you know, this is another thing, and I've tried to teach my kids this, and all of you, I try to teach my players, you know, we're not here to please people. Okay. We're not here to please the humans. We're really here to please one person, and that's Christ. Is that easy? No, because we're all people pleasers at some point. But if we're pleasing Him, then we don't really have to worry about pleasing other people. And so, as far as the media presence and all of that, it's been really strange. Not really strange, but just kind of a little overwhelming a bit, just because of different things, and you know, but it to me, I've just not let that get me in any way upset or like nervous or whatever. Just you know, I just got to let it be, and know that we're just another human on the earth. Like, you know, I mean, nothing, and we're not perfect, and we just, you know, honestly are small town people, that enjoy the sport of basketball.
Yeah.
We just enjoy it and like to win. We're a very competitive family. And we enjoy that part of it and that, but as far as, being overwhelmed, it's not been too bad.
Yeah, one piece
So.
of advice that my dad, he's very, very down to earth. He's very good at giving advice. And so he's he keeps me sane in a way because he just always knows what to say. And so one thing that he told me, or he tells me all the time, actually, every day, everyone wakes up and puts their pants on the exact same way. And so I think knowing that, that's why, that's how I wasn't nervous and people looking at me, because I don't feel any different than anyone else. I wake up, I put my pants on the same way that every single person in this room, every single person that goes to that school does. And that's just the way of life, everyone does. And so are there people that are viewed as more important than others? 100%. But at the end of the day, if we're all living for the same human, are we really that different? No.
That's so true. Okay.
We're all the same.
John came through.
Yeah.
That's such a good point, because I feel like, because we were talking about this before we started the podcast. Whenever one of my really good friends that plays basketball, I used to always be like, oh, Lani can beat you in a 1v1. It's Lani Smallwood. What do you mean? And, she hates when I do that. But, it's, she's like, okay, guys, that's enough. Stop it. But, I mean, I see Lani as any other person. I don't, yes, Lani's really good at her sport, and she gets recognized so much by so many people, but, I don't think of her as oh my gosh, D1 commit, she's a celebrity. She's just another one of my really good friends, and Lani's human, and she's also living for the one goal that we're all living for, and that's having an eternal life in heaven. And I know a lot of times people will joke with her and be like, oh, I can beat you in a 1v1, oh, you don't deserve being D1, or things like that. But I feel no matter what anyone tells Lani, she knows her worth. And I think that's what really stands out to me is yes, she y'all could hear that, but May just laughed and
That was May?
Yeah,
that was 100% May. Anyway, one thing which Lani's human, she struggles like any other person does. Like I was saying earlier, we'll say things to each other if it's as simple as hey, please pray for me, this and this and this is going on. It's she struggles just as much as anybody else struggles, but she just knows her worth, and she knows her worth what is that?
Her identity, her value.
No, something that Clay has said before, something through Christ. He said something like that before. Something
Her
about,
identity through my identity through Christ.
Whenever we were having our self-worth thing, our self-worth
Christ.
is founded in Christ. That's what the sentence I was trying to put together.
Yeah, you basically just said that.
She knows her self-worth in or through Christ, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Through Christ. And so that just stands out to me is she said, she just sees herself as any other person. And I feel a lot of people, if they are from an outside perspective, if they were oh, if I was in her shoes, I wouldn't act like just any normal person, but I feel if we were in her shoes, we would, though. You know what I mean? It's like they were both saying, we're all human and we all live for one person. So it's not it makes us any different. No matter what home life we have, no matter what situation we're put in, no matter what we are given, no matter what we're not given, we're all the same exact person, and we're all living for one person. And yeah, basically, Lainey's a baddie. Basically, Lainey and Natasha both are baddies. Do you have a question? I feel like you're stirring something up in there.
It's not really a question. I just have something funny to share.
Oh,
I love it.
No, it's
like-
definitely about me.
By
the way, guys,
no, it's not.
I text Kaylee all the time because Kaylee is one of those people that I can talk to about my sport because she does not play sports, so she does not really. She just gives me really good advice mentally about when I'm nervous to play. For some reason I text Kaylee and I'm like, Kaylee, I'm just very nervous, and she just tells me all of these things, and to be honest, she probably has no idea. But for some reason, me being able to talk to Kaylee helps because she has no idea.
I have no idea because we met because Adri introduced us in our 5th period history. She's like, "This Lainey, this is my friend Kaylee. She's also new here." It's like, "Hey, Lainey," and then
because you were new too.
Yeah. So, this is the connection.
But that's why you were talking about. You're like, "Oh, it's new person, whatever." I was like,
Yeah.
She literally did that to me.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? Okay, so that's how we met, and then we also realized like we had the same 2nd period, so we sat together in both of those periods, and like when we were first getting to know each other, I was like, "Do you do any sports?" She's like, "Yeah, I play basketball." I was like, "That's cool," and then like we didn't talk much about that. All I know about Lady this far is that like she likes to ask for answers in algebra.
Yeah.
Basketball. I have no idea what a big deal she is actually with the basketball world.
Because I'm not going to go into detail. I'm just like, I mean, I play basketball sometimes.
Like she just basketball
Aw.
It's great for her because like it's not
I
like
hope
she-
you don't give her the answers.
No,
She'll learn.
well-
She actually
Good.
helps. She teaches
Good.
me.
Yeah,
She has a lot of patience with me because sometimes I ask stupid stuff and she's just like, no, it's okay. You're not stupid.
yeah,
she does that stuff like.
That's
you're not,
sweet.
because you're not stupid. You're just
Slow.
slow.
Clay might have to cut that out. I don't know if we can say that.
Yeah, I know.
You're not slow.
We won't get that out.
Okay. You got this.
But it was at the pep rally where you were playing gotcha ball. And I was like,
Gotcha ball. Gotcha.
is that what it's called?
It's just gotcha.
It's okay, Kaylee.
Okay.
Go ahead.
See, this is how much I know.
That's
But
sports.
but I was like, oh, she's like pretty decent actually. It's kind of good.
And then the next thing I'm
Big
telling
Mr.
Kaylee,
Hudgens.
and then the next thing I'm telling Kaylee about me playing basketball is that I'm committing that day. And I told her before I told many
She
people
did. I was
actually,
like-
because again, Kaylee doesn't know.
She was like, I'm announcing who I'm committing to later, and I was like, you're gonna tell me, right? She was like, no, I can't tell anybody. It's like in my contract or whatever.
Contract? I didn't say that.
I was like,
No, listen.
I just looked at her and I was like,
You're talking. Yeah.
you're gonna tell me.
I remember Kaylee asking me, she's like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, okay, because I called it. I did tell Lainey, because when Kaylee was like, so are you going to tell me? Lainey was like, no, I can't. And I was like, okay, like, can we, like, know anything? And she was like, no, I can't tell anyone. You can find out at 5 p.m. tonight.
that's so
And I was like, oh my gosh.
told me.
But I did guess before.
did.
I was like, I feel like you're gonna commit to Mississippi just because like I could just see that she just thrived there, like from the pictures and how much you posted about it. I was like, that's the school she's gonna go to. And so did I end up telling you that? I know I whispered it to you.
No,
I was
yeah,
like-
whisper
yeah.
to Kaylee.
and I was like, she's going. I think she's going to Mississippi. And then Kaylee was like, so like, does she like just go there? Did they like pay for her school? Like what happened? And I was like, basically, they pay for her school and she gets to play basketball there. And she's like, oh okay.
You sound so dumb. I do know a lot about sports actually. Just not about basketball.
No, because it always kills me whenever we're at the pep rallies and like she signed up and they're like, ladies.
Or when he whispers and he's like, Lani Smallwood. That was after I beat him in gotcha. He got mad.
No, it kills me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And when they do it to Molly too.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like,
Molly. Yeah, they did that to so many people. It's so funny.
But yeah, I say that little funny story about like She's just a girl in my algebra class and history class, and she plays basketball. Like, at first that's what you were, and now I realize, like, oh, like, she plays basketball, like, for real.
Like, it's for real. It's not a joke.
She doesn't just, she's not just, like, on the team. But now I see you as, like, a friend.
But now, like, that's why I love people like Kaylee, because there's people like Kaylee that help me and they don't realize it because, yeah, like I was just, and I knew she had no idea who I was. I knew, like, and that gives me, like, that's like an outlet for me. Like, that's like a time I can breathe and I can just, hey, Kaylee, I don't know what's going on in math right now. Can you help me?
You don't have to be like the Lani Smallwood.
Yeah, it's just like people like
yeah,
Kaylee. Yeah. Anyways.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
I think a lot of people assumed you were committing to Mississippi because of how many photos there were posted. And wasn't there a TikTok?
Yeah.
Did you film a TikTok there?
Wasn't there one?
I think you did.
well, that was after I committed though.
Oh,
I didn't post one until after I committed because I didn't want anyone to know, obviously.
Actually, here's how our conversation went before she told me. Well, actually, she told me it was Mississippi State. I was like, oh, that's the one you, like, did that cool camp at. And she was
Because
like,
I
no,
was
that wasn't the one. I was like, yeah, it is, lady. Like,
Yeah, because I still can't figure out what camp that was. It was the one.
It was just an elite camp.
right, but like, where was it at?
Mississippi State.
Oh, okay, bye.
No, I just went on an elite camp there. And I remember actually, after I went on the elite camp, Kaylee, okay, that weekend I went to Mississippi State. It was like a month ago before I committed. And I came back to school. Obviously, I had to go to algebra, second period. And Kaylee was like, oh, what did you do this weekend? I was like, I went to an elite camp at Mississippi State. And that's when I had like told her that they offered me. And I don't really think she kind of...
yeah,
It went over her head. She's like, oh, okay. And I was like, yep.
He's like, it's actually really important. Why are you saying, oh, okay? Lady's like, I like got offered to get my school paid for. What do you mean, okay? Yeah, Kaylee. Oh, it's okay.
No, we love Kaylee.
No, but genuinely, Kaylee is such a sweet person. Like, no matter like what your struggles are or like what you go through and stuff, like Kaylee just sees you as that person.
Yeah,
I think that's what's just so great about her.
Yes.
Is like she's just
Y'all ask
amazing.
a Smallwood question?
Yeah.
We actually started. I just asked if we asked her questions.
Yes,
we
I
have.
love it.
And then we started talking about
I love it.
Lani committing. So that's what we started talking about. Wait, I have a question. I have another question for you.
Okay.
Okay. So, you said you've been coaching for such a long time. And I'm sure
Theory.
and I'm in theory, just in case it's fake. And I'm sure you like enjoyed Susan Moore so much because you were there for so long. But what is like something that I guess just like what's the word? Just like
You guys.
I guess I'm trying to think of the word. I guess just like stood out to you about Albertville and you were like, oh, like I think that's the school that we need to move to, and that you feel like that was what God was leading you to.
That is a great question. Honestly, I have been talking to several people, obviously about the program. And when I took over as the varsity coach at Susan Moore, my first year there, we were 4-16. We won 4 games. And so it was a rebuild of.
Kaylee just asked if that was good or bad.
Okay, so 4 and 16. You always say your wins. You say your wins first and your losses last. So 16 losses and only 4 wins in a season.
But hey, that's
Not so good. Okay. And it was pretty rough. So then after, so it became one of those things, and my kids, they were in elementary school. I had several, we were starting our elementary league. So it was a building year. We were building, and it was one of those processes of building a culture, teaching kids how to play basketball and all the things. And so it was every year that we went, our record got better every single year. And then once we started making it to regionals, it was each year we made it further each year that we went. And it just became the culture of winning and doing, and just kind of expecting to do the things that we were doing. And so I thought, well, okay, obviously they had, great people here, and obviously the past coaches have done good jobs, and I have hats off to them and respect them so much. I respect Coach Cotton, and he and our relationship once that I'm there. He's been awesome, and
He really has.
very, very supportive, very welcoming, offering to help in any way that he can. And that's a shout out to him and all the things. And he's just a great person. But looking into it and the culture, and not the culture, but the program and everything, there's a lot of interest with the young kids coming up. There is talent here in all ages. And so it was kind of a thing like, okay, let's try to see what we can do and help build this program into a winning culture and winning standards, and so that's kind of what drew me. Like, okay, let's go see what we can do, and see what we can help and see and meet all these new players and families and all the things. So that's kind of what was like, let's go do it, let's try to rebuild something.
I love that. I know that like everyone that was like, oh, we're getting like a new coach, we're also getting a new player, like a lot of the times people make Albertville seem like, I guess, just like not a good place, but I guess like maybe their experience at Albertville just maybe hasn't been a good time, which that's just like a completely different story. But I know that like my friends and Lainey's friends, like we just like welcomed her, and just the whole community was so welcoming, and I think that was when I was like, why are you laughing at me?
We were awesome.
Because we are awesome. Because we are fantastic. No, but I just knew that like a whole bunch of people were so excited, and it just like made me excited, and I was like, wait guys, this is actually kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Like we're like getting a brand new student, and it was like, and normally when we like get like new students, it's like very rare for it to be someone in our grade, and so like we got Kaylee this year, which we were so excited. Or I was so excited, I know that. And then we got I mean, like, then we had Lainey, and I thought Lainey was like a senior, and then they were like, no, she's a junior. I was like, oh my gosh, she's in my grade. Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Tell me my mom thought Lenny was my age.
Oh my gosh.
People like either think a senior, obviously, or like I'm like young. I don't know. Like it's never been you're a junior. I'm either a sophomore or a senior.
Right. It's just like so rare for like new kids to come
Move
in
a junior
and
year too.
Yeah, and because it was like our junior year, like it was very like out of nowhere, and because it was like the end of the year, you moved in like what, like the end of April.
End of
maybe?
April.
Yeah, like end of April, and but I mean, Lainey, her and I just clicked, and we just
Yes,
like,
we did.
we Chick-fil-A brought us together.
Yeah. As a
Thank you,
mom.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you,
She
Chick-fil-A.
asked me, and I'm, as a mom, it's like, okay, one, I had to pray really hard. I mean, I did,
She
because
was
I'm like, Lord,
please.
but I mean, obviously, as a parent, you want good people in your kids' lives, and knowing like some hardships sometimes that you go through, and you just need positive friends, Christian friends in your kids' lives. And I prayed. I'm like, I know how girls are. Girls are mean.
Yeah.
Girls can be mean. not acceptive, not, happy that a new girl is in town, So I truly prayed to the Lord. I'm like, God, send her, please send. I didn't ask for a circle, I asked one. I was like, Lord, send her one good friend. I don't want to cry, and I may cry, but send her one friend that is a Christian, that loves the Lord, and that will be a true friend. And that's why I said earlier that the Lord has really proven himself multiple times to me, of his faithfulness, and to know that I can keep trusting him in our life, in her life, in Callie's life, and in my family's life, that he's going to take care of us. He's going to take care of her. He's going to take care of you guys, as long as you trust him. And so not only, hearing you two talk about this side of her is also a testament of an answered prayer.
Yeah. And
it is, truly.
Yeah, and I can also like touch in this at like this subject a little bit, because like, moving, or like before I moved, like my walk of faith was like very just like everyone else. But when I moved, we go high, we go low, we go high. We were low. Like we were low, and we were in the trenches, okay. And it was just it was like one of the roughest times of my life I've ever been in. And so you're moving schools while it's like one of the hardest times of your life, and so that can either go really good or very bad. And so I was just like, whatever happens, I was at that point. And so, but like, this is how you know that every prayer was answered, because obviously, like, I have never been as close with Jesus as I am now. And I cannot, if I would not have moved, I don't know if I could say that. And that's truly because I've met some of the most amazing people that I will ever meet in my life. And I know that I've met some of my best friends that I'll ever meet in my life. And so truly was an answered prayer, because whether people know it or not, they dug me out of a time that I didn't know that I could get out of, and they did it easily like that. And they didn't know me, and I think that helped. They didn't know, and they didn't know me. They just loved me and welcomed me, and that's what's so important. And it's like showing me how to treat other people, because it's giving me a more like clear view of everyone, and like knowing like, okay, you have no idea what anyone's going through. So it's like welcome them and love them, and that's be loving or be quiet. Period.
Be loving or be quiet. That was our
Clay Minor.
Yeah. Clay Minor 2024. That was our bottom line tonight.
Wait, 2028.
It's 2024.
Wait.
She's thinking president.
I thought you meant.
No, I'm talking about like now. Oh,
She's very smart.
Oh, bless. Oh.
I believe you can.
If you have to tell people you're smart, I don't know about that one, Kaylee. Okay, guys, so we're going to take our break and wrap up with the first table. Thank you guys so much for being here and questioning Natasha and Lani. If you want to say your goodbyes, you may do so.
Table 1 loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Dab.
Oh yeah, dab.
I'm left-handed. Sorry, I like.
Oh wait, I have to get Natasha dabbing. Hey guys, welcome back. We're back from our 2-second break. We are with the second table. We have Austin Clay Minor here with us. Then we have V. We have we have Alex, and then we have May. So we're just gonna do the same thing with you guys. Y'all just ask them whatever questions you think you would want them to answer. May?
Sorry. I heard you moved this year. Was it hard moving from another place to another, even though it's still Alabama?
It was. But luckily, though, we did not have to move houses. We stayed where we've lived our entire life. So it wasn't, I mean, that part of it that made it better. That made it better and easier. So, but like I told them earlier, I went to school at Susan Moore, kindergarten through 12th grade, and graduated from there. And then I taught there for 22 years. So I was there a long time. So leaving my comfort zone was a little different, but this has been great. It's been a great move, for sure.
So how are you feeling about Albertville?
I love it. I love it.
Simple question.
Yeah, I love it. It's. I think every day brings a new adventure, you know, and the people here are great. So
Yes.
I love it.
Are you okay? Hallie Holmes.
Who was that?
Hallie Holmes.
Hallie Holmes.
Yes. One of my former players.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they were just looking at each other.
She was in my youth at Mount Vernon, and she loved you dearly.
Really?
I love her dearly. I
Aw.
haven't seen her in a very long time.
Yes. Yep.
Where'd she go to college? She went somewhere.
She's at Sanford. She's
Sanford.
in pharmacy school.
That's right.
Yep.
She's still playing basketball?
No. She played 1 year at Wallace State, and then she went to Jacksonville right out of high school, and then her next year she decided to go play at Wallace. So she did a year there, and then she went to Sanford, and so she's there now, in pharmacy school. So she's doing really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some students that you have that you're just super close with, and she was one of them for me. She's an amazing human.
Yeah,
Her whole
she
family
is. Yes.
Figured I'd mention her.
Yeah, she still texts me all the time.
She's next level.
Yep.
Oh, do you have something to?
Oh no.
If I'm wrong, cut this out. But you're the basketball coach, right?
I am. the girls basketball coach. Yeah.
I just had to make it.
Guys, clearly I should have educated y'all before this interview.
No, you told me she's the basketball coach, so I
Okay.
was like double check.
Okay.
That's right. You're
How
good.
do you come in and like try to impact their lives every day and make sure that they're having a good day?
That's a great question. So that is a great question, because as coaches we have to be mentors, right? And we're also human, right? So there's days that we may not feel like doing our job the best. You know, there's days that we're tired mentally and physically, but we have to bring out the best in each other, and especially our players. And I've always been told as a teacher, because I was in the classroom for several years teaching. I was a first grade teacher for many years, and then sixth grade teacher, and then I went to PE. So they always said, you may be the only smile that your kids see during the day, you know? So I've always remembered that, to like smile and you know, speak clearly as far as like, hey, are you having a great morning, you know, and hope you have a great day. And so that's, I think we have to, as a leader, when you're a leader of a team, of a group of people, Clay, he has to be like this, you know, he's got to be he's your supporter, right? He's there for you when you need him. But you also like for him to be enthusiastic. You like for him to be talkative, and you like to see him smile at you. And but there's probably times that he's tired, right? and he's like maybe not feeling it, but we have to show that we are. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's definitely what we try to do.
How do you manage your spiritual life and coaching? Because I know like coaching is like every week.
It's tough.
You got it. Yeah, every day,
Yeah.
every morning. Like it's yeah.
That is a great question. So I'm a morning person. I like to get up early. And I do like I try to, which it's hard when you have late night games in season. So But outside of season, I get up early, about 4:20 every morning, and I go exercise and work out then before school. But I also, now that I get to drive, about 25 minutes to school, that I use that as my quiet time. And I use that time to pray, listen to my worship music, or I may play my Bible app and then but then anytime that I can find my actual quiet time in the Bible, that might be later at night, or it could be first thing in the morning, but that's kind of how I balance it. Anytime I have extra quiet time, I try to use it to talk, and that's even throughout the day. It's like, Lord, please help me. I need you right now, Lord.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Fire questions.
Yeah.
Well, the first one's fire. I don't know about the second one. First one for Lani. Tell me about that nose ring. What was that like at home? Where was that?
It's fake.
Oh, it's fake.
That's why we have to, that's my only thing.
Because you wanted a real one,
You
you weren't allowed.
I don't really want to get it pierced. It probably hurt. No,
No.
no, like it probably hurt. So no, they wouldn't let me for one. And I play basketball, so I can't really like keep it in anyways.
You're
So
being
like
convenient.
fake is just I can wear it when I feel like it. So
Oh, well, please put it back. That's pretty cool.
thanks.
I just asking.
No, I
obviously,
can't.
like piercings and tattoos are profoundly sinful, so that's why.
Oh,
Oh.
you have them. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I used to do that all the time. Like especially in college ministry. Like I remember specifically, there was this one time this girl couldn't get her to talk. She's very, very shy, and this was a risky move, but I made it because I'm into risky moves. And
Oh, we know.
she was about to walk out, and I was like, "Hey, I noticed you got a butterfly on your arm," and she's, "Yeah," and I was like, that's like obviously super simple.
Oh my, you must have
And she,
terrified her.
pure terror hits this girl.
Oh my.
And then I just like started scratching my nose. And she saw my ring tattoo. And it broke the ice, and she wouldn't stop talking after that. That's pretty
good.
Cool. Yeah. My second question is how did y'all find Lifepoint?
That's a great question.
Well, actually, when I moved right when I moved, obviously we were looking for a church, and I was looking for somewhere to like go and find a good youth group because I've honestly never really been a part of one really big either. Like
At your age,
At-
I'll
all,
explain
really.
why. Because
because
we went to church in Susan Moore at Mount Pleasant, where my husband's family went to church, and we were there for we were there for several years, and they did Awanas as kids there, so they were able to do that. But then my husband's a preacher, and so he was called to a church in Arab, or in, not necessarily right in Arab, but it's like going to Arab. So we went there as a family, but it was a smaller church with not a lot of youth. Actually,
No
zero.
There was no youth here. Like there was like 3 of us here, and then we all started like inviting people.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Yes.
So yeah, so we went there.
Clay like, what do you mean?
There what?
We went there
We
for
did
six,
have a lot of people,
6
though.
years, I
There's-
guess.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was 6 years of
We're not
her
sure
youth
what the
years,
youth was.
and then it was kind of time to move on, and that's what's kind of I think it's not strange. It is the Lord's work. I truly believe.
Why are you laughing?
So
Peak of
yeah,
We're in the peak of maturity. Right?
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're so good. But yeah, so we when he stopped pastoring, we just started visiting different churches, and we were kind of going from different, obviously different churches for several Sundays. We visited Compassion City in Albertville. We went there several times and enjoyed it, but it was like, and then we came here a couple of times.
Yes, but let me explain
And so you can explain now.
how I got why I started coming. Or like,
Yeah.
well, first, right when we moved, we
Yeah.
took the job. Jason Simpson is who really encouraged my mom to take the job in the first place.
Not the meteorologist.
What?
What?
There's a meteorologist in Huntsville named Jason Simpson. He loves that joke too.
Yes, yes.
I'm sure he does.
Sure.
Anyways, he he told me about Lifepoint. He told Dad, and so Dad was like, I hear that like Lifepoint has a really good youth group and there's a lot of kids. I think you should go. And so yeah. And then Adri invited me many times too. Like I was kind of nervous to go until I knew someone, and so I knew Adri, and so I came.
Yeah.
There we go.
We've been the better.
But we, as far as, deciding to start coming to Lifepoint regularly, my husband and I talked about, because we're not one to just bounce from church to church, obviously. And I feel like, in your spiritual walk, you need to find somewhere to be and to work, and obviously we're still in the kind of the new phase of coming and doing, because we're not involved yet, I guess you would say, in anything extra. But yeah, we just both felt like this was a place that our family could go, and we were drawn to obviously the Lord's Spirit being here, and the preaching of His Word. We enjoyed the messages, and yeah, so we felt welcome, So
Well, I mean, I probably shouldn't say this. but-
Oh God, you probably
You
should.
don't say it anyway.
Well, I mean, one thing that's so incredible about Lifepoint, and that's just the reason I shouldn't say this, because obviously I'm on staff at Lifepoint, but is, I mean, we really, truly have like an embarrassment of riches at Lifepoint. Incredible musicians, worship. There's Matt's a fantastic communicator. Q's a fantastic communicator. Todd, believe it or not, is a fantastic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yes.
I mean, it's when I came here, like I remember when I came, it's just unbelievable. It's really like nowhere I've ever been. But I'm obviously biased.
Yes.
Yeah, Clay was like, I don't remember if the very first time that I invited you, if I was just like, oh, like you need to come, but because I know at some point Clay was like, Lani Smallwood. I was like, yeah, like she's one of my friends, and and he was like, you should get her to come to church, and I was like, I think, oh look, that popped up.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either, but I don't know if it was like when you had already came like that first time, and I was like, yeah, I actually brought her the other day, and then he was like, okay, keep bringing her. Yeah, but I remember the first time that like Lani came, we like had a moment.
Yeah,
and it
we
was
did.
Like, and I think other than Chick-fil-A clicking us together, because
Food.
food. Whenever I'm with Lani, I think the only thing we've ever done is eaten. Like, I'm being dead serious, but it's okay. That's how we. That's right. That's how. Right. But we had one of our prayer nights.
Yes.
It was one of our prayer nights, and I was like, oh, this is good. But at first, I was a little scared. I was like, oh, like I don't know if she's gonna like this, because like maybe it's just like too much for someone, like their first visit, because like Lifepoint don't play about their prayer nights. We love us a good prayer night, a good worship night. Like we could do that all night. Worship nights, prayer nights. Oh, holy grail right there. It's so good. And like the environment itself is just so good that it just makes you like want it more, and it just makes you feel the Holy Spirit even more. And so I was a little scared that it was like, oh, maybe she's gonna be like, this is just a little too much for me or something, because one, like I didn't really know, like I think this was like the same week that you had moved there. I think it had been like a couple of days since I had met you, and so like I didn't really know much about you. I didn't know much about you spiritually, and so like I said earlier, like I just kind of felt like drawn to you, and I was like, okay, I feel like I just need to invite her to church. And so Lynn was up on stage, and I was like, Lani, I think I don't know. I think we just both started shedding tears. I don't even
Yeah.
remember what it
It
was.
was because Lynn was like praying for us. and
Yeah,
stuff.
and then I was like, come on. And so I took her to Lynn, you know, the angel she is, and I was like, Lynn is a perfect person to pray over her. And because Lynn has also like Lynn is one of my what's the word? Wow, are you okay? Lynn is one of my mentors. That's the word I was looking for. Lynn is one of my mentors. Lynn's an amazing person. May, are you okay?
Yeah. Okay. Let me go get you some water. Okay. And the camera as well.
But Lynn is like one of my mentors. She gives really good advice and has always been there for me, like no matter what. And so Lynn started praying over Lainey, and then we just both started praying over her, and Lainey just started telling us things that were going on and stuff. And you know, Lainey was saying how she was just like at an ultimate low, and at the time I was not doing great spiritually whatsoever. Like we were both in the trenches at the exact same time, and it was literally insane because our situation was actually the exact same. And so when she started talking about like what was going on and what had her feeling that way, I was like, this is really weird because like none of my friends have gone through the same thing that I was going through at the time. Yeah. And so because I surround myself around a lot of Christians, you know, either they were like at an all-time high at that time and I was just like at a low, and so I didn't really know many people that were at a low at that time. And so when I met Lainey, I was like, okay, it's not just me. Like I'm not the only one going at it or being at that. Wow, I'm not the only one that is at a low right now. And that just made me feel better, and it made me feel better about inviting her. And I think that, and like for the longest time, I prayed over Lainey. I was like, if this is like, because there's been a lot of times, I don't know if I've like talked to you about this, but there's been a lot of times that someone has like been on my heart to pray. And I know I've talked to Desi about this. I just want the transformation to happen then and there. And Desi's like, you planted the seed. And so that's what matters. Is you planted a seed, and now like they just have to grow on their own, and they you know. And so seeing Lainey grow has been like one of my like answered prayers that I've like physically seen. And I think that's the one thing that's like, I guess like grown my faith more, because a lot of the times people just like to people like not necessarily like lose their faith, but like I guess just like don't have faith in the Lord when they don't see their prayers being answered and stuff like that. And so because I was at an all-time low, and then seeing that Lainey got out of the trenches, I was like that right there is my answered prayer, and I can get out of the trenches too. And that just like inviting Lainey, I think not only like obviously helped her spiritually, but also like helped me spiritually. And Lifepoint, not to be biased or anything, but Lifepoint's a pretty great place. So you should come join us 9 a.m. First service, 11 a.m. Second service. Youth starts 5:30 food, and then service starts at 6. Okay, thanks. May, you have a question?
Oh, I was gonna ask if both of y'all were out of the trenches, but
Yeah, we both got out of the trenches together, basically.
I'm still trying.
Would the would younger you think you would be coaching a varsity basketball team right now?
Actually, I know. I mean, I never really like dreamed of coaching. I really didn't. I played basketball and loved it. But going into getting my degree in college, I just wanted to be a teacher. And so I really didn't think about, I want to do this, you know. And then obviously when you get into education, the need of coaches is very high. And so they asked me to coach. So like when I first took the job, I coached 3 different sports. I coached basketball, volleyball. I was actually the head volleyball coach for several years. I did junior high basketball first, and then I was a track coach and softball 1 year. That's just 1 year. So it was, multiple, but yeah, so and then as it kept going and the opportunity became as a varsity coach, then it was, I took it but it wasn't one that I just really dreamed about doing. It just kind of, I felt like it was just what the Lord had planned for me to do in my life. So
That kind of reminds me of what we talked about in Aggie leadership, like your why and then your what. Because, like, sometimes you need to do something first before you get to your
why?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, and also, like, what made you want to become a teacher?
Honestly, I loved little kids. I loved being around little kids. So I wanted to be an elementary teacher. So I went into elementary education. And I was able to teach first grade. I taught first grade for like 8 years. And it was so rewarding because you see the growth in a kid. They learn to read in first grade, and it's just so cool. I loved it. So yeah, that's why I became a teacher, because I wanted to be around kids.
This is a question for you. When, if you have, when did you accept God into your heart, and like what pushed you to do it? Not, of course, like Jesus Christ, but like, I mean, like, like what happened that night that pushed you to do it?
Well, obviously at a very young age, like most people, they kind of like, yeah, at a young age, like you accept and you get baptized. And then it wasn't until like recently, like, and I don't really think, okay, I know that when I was younger, I was saved. And I do feel like you eventually do drift away, like you get that distance. And so he talks about being justified a lot. Like, you can get justified, but that doesn't mean you're not going to go away and you're not going to veer off from him. And so it's obviously been recently that I've really like grown that relationship back. And so I think like when you're really far away from him and like you're living in a lot of sin, you won't like have the desire to like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like you won't feel like guilty about stuff that you do anymore once you get super far away, and you'll just kind of be comfortable in living in that sin. And it's not until you get to the point where you're so comfortable that it becomes uncomfortable, that's when you'll realize, hey, like what, like this is not okay. And you'll get sick about it, and you'll have outside influences too. That was one for me, is like outside influences and like hearing and overhearing, and you'll see a lot of things. But I just feel like when you have that feeling of conviction and you like, like what you're living in is wrong and you're not living for the right things, that's when, you'll know and you'll want to start building that relationship. Like if you've never been like saved or never had a relationship with him, then hey, you'll get like, that's when like I need to give my life up to Christ. But say you have had a relationship, you just kind of like veer off and you weren't really like living for him at all anymore, then that's when you'll like rekindle that and like grow more in him. And that's when it will really like light a fire in you, especially when you get like even older, because life's not easy and it definitely only gets harder. And you will not be able to go through some of the things that life will put in front of you without him. And if you do, you'll like go through them in the wrong ways, and then you'll just end up worse, if that makes sense. So that's why you'll know. And if you already have a seed planted, then when you veer off or when you're going through a hard time, like that seed's not going to go away. Like the roots keep growing, right, and they'll grow stronger and stronger. And then that's what's going to be like, that's what you're going to be rooted in. And so you'll know how to deal with those things, and you'll know like, yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Snaps all around.
It's like PGC.
Yes.
I feel like
I have a question for you.
Oh.
Why do you wear a knife on your neck?
Oh.
She doesn't.
Just in case a fish decides to.
The clay lore.
It's interesting, man, that you chose a fish right there.
Austin Court.
Most people think it's for violence for some reason.
I don't think it's for
Yeah.
violence.
I'm just saying, if somebody comes at me, it ain't gonna be this time. I have other weapons.
Yes,
Um,
many.
Greaser core.
Your question is
Okay.